Welcome to Throwing Patone, and Patone's on the throne, so it's time to talk sports. Today's show is going to be a good one. We're going to start off with some news that you may or may not have heard from around the sports world, so just in case you missed it, we'll let you know. Then we'll follow up with Phone Patone, where we'll interview real people with real insight to get a better understanding of what's going on in and around the sports world. And finally, there is a Bucs flag here. I am an NFL fan. We're going to talk OTAs. This week has been crowded with news in and around the sports world, so in case you missed it, the Celtics took Game 1 of the NBA Finals in a dominant win over the Mavericks. Luka did post a double-double, but it wasn't enough. Celtics took it 107-89, and they are up 1-0 in the series. Game 2 tips off Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, live on ABC and streaming on Fubo TV. The Stanley Cup Finals are underway. This series marks the first time since 2006 that either the Edmonton Oilers or the Florida Panthers have made it to the finals, with the last time Florida making it being in 1996. Coverage on Game 1 begins tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC, with streaming available on ESPN+. Although if this episode comes out tomorrow, you'll already know what happens. The U.S. Open begins June 13th. The tournament's being played at Pinehurst No. 2 in North Carolina and will continue through June 16th. And Scottie Scheffler is the betting favorite right now, going off at plus 400 to win the whole thing. Something you may already know, Mike Tyson had to postpone his fight with Jake Paul due to an unforeseen medical condition. However, he stated that he is still ready to get in the ring and he still is ready to fight Jake Paul. And look, here's the thing. I don't care if he's 50. I think I'd rather get hit by a Kia Sorento than get punched in the face by Mike Tyson. Jake Paul is going to lose. Mike Tyson's going to win. Get mad about it. Originally, the fight was going to be streamed on Netflix on July 20th, but it has officially been rescheduled by Most Valuable Promotions for November 15th. Streaming is still on Netflix. For the first time in league history, the UFL playoffs start this weekend. Panthers are visiting the Stallions today at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And tomorrow, the Brahmas are visiting the Battlehawks. That game will be live at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, only on Fox. Championship will be held next weekend on June 16th. And in other news, the WNBA has officially broken 1 million average viewers or more for the fourth time this season. Caitlin Clark, the new poster woman and superstar of the WNBA, has been active and on the court for all 4 of those games. Hopefully this trend continues. It's a new era for the WNBA. But that is all the news that we had from this week in sports, so in case you missed it, there you go. Coming up next, we're bringing in Nick Cohen, a colleague of mine from UCF, to talk about recent NFL contract extensions and what that means for the market as a whole. And we're here with Nick Cohen. Nick Cohen, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Absolutely fantastic weekend going on. You know, you mentioned you played some pickleball. I do love pickleball. You know, what's your handicap?
I don't know. I'm quite good at the backhand though, you know?
A little elbow grease, a little warming up on that?
Always. A little bit of sweat, a little bit of suntan, you know?
Okay, so we have Nick Cohen here because we're going to be talking about a lot of NFL extensions because this has been a very lucrative offseason for so many players. And Nick Cohen is one of the most highly intelligent, gifted, like aliens from outer space that understands the NFL. He's the Adam Schefter for the University of Central Florida. Like, we need our Nick Cohens in the world.
Love to hear it.
Nick Cohen, the first question that I am going to ask you relates to the one and only Justin Jefferson, who so many people, you know, highly regard as the number 1 wide receiver in the NFL. And he was just paid like it. 4 years, $140 million, 35 APY with incentives, which is absolutely insane. But because a deal like that occurred just so recently, now, you know, guys like T. Higgins, guys like Brandon Ayuk, guys like CeeDee Lamb, players of that caliber, they're getting, you know, some kind of negotiation tactic here, right? They can, you know, walk into the front office, you know, tickle the GM and say, hey, buddy, you know, he just signed for 35. I need 36. So is that something that we're going to see? Are we going to see a lot of negotiation tactics like this start to develop because of that signing? And can we expect more 30, 35 plus $1 million deals APY coming soon?
I definitely think it will happen. It seems to always happen because the market always gets reset by a player. However, I don't think it should happen because I'm a Dolphins fan and I do think Justin Jefferson's the best receiver in the league. I know that's kind of crazy when we have Tyreek Hill, but I'm realistic and he's the best receiver in the league, one of the best players in the league. So he should be paid like it.
You just said that you are a Miami Dolphins fan, so I'm going to give you a minute to, you know, let the air clear, you know, address the judge in the courtroom. Why are you wearing the Kuechly jersey today?
So, first of all, the Panthers have one of the best jerseys ever, I think. I love this blue color, and it's even better in person. And Luke Kuechly is the best player in their franchise history. He was always a favorite player of mine. I grew up watching him when I was younger, which is kind of hard to believe. Retired too soon, but always one of my favorite players,
I love it. You got to rep the guys you love. I had a Peyton
of
Manning
course.
jersey back in the day, way
Really.
back in the day. Old Papa Bear's up in Indianapolis right now. I think picked me
You
up an
were.
Anthony Richardson jersey.
They have some dogs in Indiana. Big
Oh,
Michael Pittman fan.
35 million a year is the highest paid non-quarterback deal in NFL history. Is that kind of the end of the road for that record this year? Are we going to have to wait till next year to see something like it? Or are we going to see 35 million a year broke over this offseason?
All right, so my prediction is going to be no. We will see something top that.
Yep.
CeeDee Lamb,
I knew you were going there.
he's a top three receiver in the league, number three, but he's top three. Over guys like AJ Brown. I think that's not
Yeah,
even
that's
close
fair.
to
That's
say.
fair.
It's only Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson above him, and he needs a new contract. And Dallas, I think they can get that done. And the Dolphins, even though Tyreek Hill is on a 30 plus mil a year contract, he's being greedy. I said it. He's being greedy.
His potential out for the Dolphins is 2025, right? So next year they could release him and still wind up saving money, but he's still
Yeah.
got 2 more years under contract after this
Yeah.
one. He's already looking
I
for an extension.
I love Tyreek Hill, but he is greedy. I don't understand these players. Even if you're making more than $20 million a year, you're set for your entire life. You'll get some rings. You'll maybe go to the Hall of Fame. Just be a little bit more humble. If you're not winning the Super Bowl, you just say, "Oh, I was the highest paid receiver ever."
What do you got to show for it?
Not a Super Bowl ring, not an
Definitely
MVP.
Super Bowl ring. No Super Bowl rings. Christian McCaffrey just signed 2 years, 38 million, 19 million APY. Kind of sat on the front of the dome for a little bit. Are we watching the running back market reset now? Because so many running backs have found new homes and so many are getting overpaid. So is this market going to reset like receivers quarterback market has, or is this just the best getting paid the best?
It will when guys like Jahmyr Gibbs, guys like Breece Hall, I think they could get up to Christian McCaffrey money,
Really?
but that's not going to be this year. Some of the other running backs that are looking for new contracts this year, they're not getting 19 mil a year.
Talking about the other receiver opposite of Tyreek Hill, Mr. Dolphins fan, the contract season is coming up. It's sneaking up.
Calm down.
And Jalen Waddle just got paid 3 years, just under $85 million. How is this going to affect Tua's negotiations?
It's kind of frustrating because it goes back to what I was saying about being greedy. We didn't really have money to re-sign Tua, and now we really don't have money because we gave Jalen Wall all of it. I'm happy he's not going anywhere, of course. We should have been able to get that done for less money.
I don't want to say he's overpaid because I love Jalen Waddle.
Right.
I don't want to
He's
say he's
overpaid. I
overpaid.
love him too. I want his jersey. He's one of my favorite players, but he's not a top four receiver.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
It's a logo on the side.
I slapped a crude UCF logo on the side.
Very nice. I
Well,
wish I had something like that. I don't though.
if I want it they have everything at Goodwill. I can just walk in,
They
they'll
really
have
do.
I
Yeah,
love Goodwill, dude. I always find awesome stuff at Goodwill.
really.
I walked into Goodwill like a month and a half, 2 months ago, and there was just like a Ryan Tannehill Dolphins jersey sitting on the rack there. And
I used
man,
to have his jersey actually.
you really? Maybe it was you who put it in Goodwill.
I have no clue when I got rid of that thing. It was a youth size.
Was it a Youth XL?
Probably.
It was you.
It was me.
You're the one who put it in the Goodwill. Nick Cohen is a fake fan. Panthers jersey on. He got rid of his Ryan
I
Tannehill
know. I
jersey.
know. What is wrong
No,
with me?
no respect for the Dolphins fan base. Speaking of respect for fan bases, you gotta let the people know. The next question I have to talk to you about before I take this off because my jaw's about to go into lockjaw.
You lose circulation to your head.
Pretty bad. Like
Yes.
start hallucinating vampires and Nosferatu coming out of my closet in a few minutes. It's no fun. But you get fired up. You got to be ready. Antoine Winfield Jr. just re-signed highest paid defensive back contract in NFL history, $84.1 million over 4 years. Can we expect something similar for Tristan Wirfs coming down the pipeline? I believe as hard as I can believe that it's going to happen, but I need to hear it. Is it going to happen?
That's gonna happen. Yeah. He should be paid slightly more than Andrew Thomas,
Okay.
slightly less than Penei Sewell.
I will put my head in front of the guillotine on this and, die on the hill. Like I am very, very confident that I have the number cooking in the head, right? I'm thinking we're seeing right around 5 years, 137 and a half. I'm thinking a big deal, not yet, not 30 mil a year, not 150 million, but just under. The helmet came off because blood circulation cut off to my head. and I didn't want to call Tampa General. What we're going to do with Nick Cohen here is, since Nick Cohen is, this absolute guru when it comes to extensions, he knows what he's talking about. I'm going to fire off some of the names that everyone's waiting to see. This is in an ideal world. I just want to know from Nick Cohen what is the number going to be, and potentially how many years. Whatever you're thinking, top of the head. Telling you earlier, this isn't one of those, you drive the car. This is the car drives you, let it flow through you, like slick butter. Let it come through you, Joe. Tell me what you're thinking. CeeDee Lamb.
4 year,
Ooh.
$128 million. That's 32 per year.
Right up there with that AJ Brown number at that 32. I
Yes.
love it. All right. T. Higgins. I know he's on a tag. He might be gone, but what's he worth?
Not incredibly much. I'm thinking a 3 year, 22 mil.
22 APY.
Yes, I actually have him at like $1 million per year less than Michael Pittman.
Brandon Ayuk.
25 APY.
Nick Chubb.
Okay, so it's tough because he's not going to get Christian McCaffrey numbers. He just came off an almost career-ending injury. I'm saying 8 per year.
Yeah, 19 for CMC was ridiculous. 19 is absolutely abysmal. Dak Prescott.
Okay, he needs to be paid like Jalen Hurts. So he's getting 51 per year. The Cowboys do not? I don't know.
I understand it, but it feels so high, Like
It does, but he's underappreciated.
I like Dak. I just think the Cowboys stink. As an American pastime to hate on the Cowboys.
But they have players I'd rather hate on than Dak, if that makes sense.
This is a tough one that, I think everyone's having trouble picking. Jordan Love.
I'm a Jordan Love believer. I think similar to how I just said Dak Prescott should get paid like Jalen Hurts, a guy in his division.
Yeah.
I think Jordan Love should get paid ever so slightly less than Jared Goff. 50 on the dot per year.
Wow.
Slightly crazy.
Ooh.
Probably a little high.
I think he's going to get more Kirk Cousins, like 45, maybe a little bit less. People in Green Bay, love Jordan Love, absolutely drooling over this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he made that kind of money. And Goons is ponying up. He's got to pay Jordan Love the big bucks. You want to keep his boy in town. So moving into a little bit of defensive players, I'm going to throw this one at you first. Levante David, my, cream of the crop, staying in town.
I think he should. He should retire with you guys, no doubt. There's a guy that I'm comparing him to slightly. His contract is ending this year.
Little Bob Wag.
It's not. It's Demario Davis.
Ooh.
Older but great middle linebacker that's been with the team forever.
Yeah.
I think 15 mil a year.
I think I'd be surprised if he broke the 10 number just because of how little the Bucs have been paying him recently. But I think he's 15 a year, easy.
Well, they did just pay Winfield, and if they pay Wirfs, they might not have the money to pay him 15.
What are you thinking about Khalil Mack here? Older guy, still one of the bigger names in the league.
He might have had a resurgence this season, and he's currently making 19.2 per year. I think bumped that up about 800,000. Von Miller's making 20 million a year. Think about that. Khalil Mack right now is better.
I think maybe the Chargers offer him something similar to what he's getting right now. Another team comes in, here's 2021. Come play with us. Nick Cohen's calling it. It's going to happen.
All of these are going to be right.
Oh, yeah, all of them. Every one of them. But all right, Budda Baker.
It's going to be similar to your boy, Antoine Winfield. Budda Baker should get $21 million per year on his next contract. And another guy that's not on here is Javon Holland. Javon Holland is right up there with Antoine Winfield Jr., with Budda Baker. He is one of the best safeties in the league. He's not like a top 3, not even top 5 guy. And Antoine Winfield might be top 5. But he deserves.
Antoine Winfield's top 1, man.
Well, that's okay. Okay, that's a different debate.
There is 0 names above Antoine Winfield. And I love Javon Holland as much as the next guy, but I don't, I just don't know.
Kyle Hamilton, I think, is slightly closer than people think to Antoine Winfield.
No, I agree. I agree completely.
Antoine Winfield better than Minka?
Ever since he was in Notre Dame, I've loved Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah, no, exactly. He's so tall. But is Antoine Winfield better than Minka?
He's better than everybody. He's the best in the league. There's nobody.
I'm asking the wrong person.
Top of your head, who are you looking to sign this offseason? Who do you want to sign the most?
I want Javon Holland signed.
That's the name out of everybody?
That's the name. Because, you're asking me, who do I want? I'm going to choose someone from my favorite team.
All right, that's fair.
Now, who do I think deserves it? Probably CeeDee Lamb. He's waited long enough. The team has the money, but who do I want? Javon Holland. I should probably say Tua, actually, but probably.
But Javon Holland's the name.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, buddy. Always good talking to you. Always good hearing from you. I love the takes. I'm always excited to come down and see if they play, at the end of the year, because I have a good feeling a lot of them are going to make the cut. Trust me, that will not be the last you see of Nick Cohen. But moving into this little segment, we are NFL fans here, so we have to talk about OTAs. A lot, and let me tell you, a lot of stories are coming out of OTAs right now. First of which is one that hits near and dear to home and to the heart, as you can see right here. Graham Barton has officially begun taking snaps with Baker Mayfield. Now, let me tell you a little story time kind of action. In the Buccaneers Super Bowl year of 2020, Ryan Jensen was like a god amongst men. I mean, everyone and anyone in Tampa Bay knew Big Red. They knew who he was. He was the best. All the stories of Tom Brady having to put baby powder under his pants so he could, get a grip because he was all sweaty. Everyone knew the stories about Ryan Jensen. Lord Almighty, what we wouldn't give to have him back under roster. But it is what it is. You play with the cards you're dealt. And Jensen unfortunately suffered a back injury that sidelined him from the year and for his career, which we wish you all the best. We love you, dude. For the past couple of years, we haven't had any significantly good center under roster. But now we have Graham Barton. And look, here's the deal. Graham Barton was a tackle at Duke for his last 3 years, but he played a lot of center in his freshman year, and he was very good at it. So we brought him in to be kind of a versatile guy. But it seems like this guy's going to be playing center, and I love that for him. I think Graham Barton's going to be a great fit here. Maybe he's not Big Red yet. Maybe people are going to have to take time to come around to him, but I think he's going to be a pretty good fit in Tampa Bay. All right, the next story that we have to talk about from OTAs comes from Buffalo, New York. And this is something that really struck me the wrong way. Look, I liked Chase Claypool as much as the next guy for his rookie year. Chase Claypool was fun to watch. It was fun to watch. He's not good anymore. After becoming a TikTok star and, hanging out with Charlie D'Amelio or whatever that guy did on the side, he's no longer a viable NFL option at wide receiver 1, 2, 3, or even maybe 4. He was wide receiver 5 or 6 for the Dolphins last year. This report comes from Mike Perino of Syracuse.com, who's been visiting the Buffalo OTA camp. He has stated that Chase Claypool has been the most consistent and reliable receiver that Buffalo has. Crazy work. The full quote goes as follows: Chase Claypool has been the Bills' most consistent wide receiver during OTAs and is setting the stage for what should be a run at the 53-man roster. In a world of Khalil Shakirs and Keon Coleman's, I get where you're coming from. I'm not discrediting you saying that maybe he is the most consistent receiver at training camp, but he's not going to be in season. It's not going to happen. We've seen Chase Claypool fail time and time again over the past couple of years. What are you seeing in training camp that's making you think that this guy's going to be a viable option at wide receiver 2 or 3? There's going to be nothing. Maybe he's hauled in a couple halfway decent passes, but he's got Josh Allen throwing to him, right? Give him week 1 and then redact your statement. Make a formal apology. I really want to be on Chase Claypool's side here because he's had a tough go with things. He's really struggled a lot. But granted, does it have to do with, him TikTok dancing at the 50-yard line? Yeah. Does it have to do with that horrible play against Minnesota where he celebrated with 8 seconds left, costing the game? Yeah. There's so much at play here that you got to look and say, hey, this guy's deserved a second chance, but he's got to prove it. I really want to see that happen for him. I don't think it's happening in Buffalo. We'll have to wait and see. And the last story that we're going to cover from OTAs revolves around the Detroit Lions and MCDC Motor City Dan Campbell. Let me read you the quote that just was posted 21 hours ago. By Grant Gordon of NFL.com, on Friday evening, the organization was made aware by the NFL and NFLPA that OTA practices held the week of May 27th violated player work rules pertaining to on-field physical contact pursuant to the collective bargaining agreement. So in other words, they were hitting each other when they shouldn't have been hitting each other, which is right up Dan Campbell's alley. Real physical, gritty, hard-nosed kind of guy. That's what Motor City football is. You're taking the pacifier away from the baby and asking why he's crying. Come on, man. Let the guy coach the way he wants to coach. You saw him get the NFC Championship last year. You saw one of the biggest turnarounds an NFL organization has had in recent memory. Lions went from nothing to something in the matter of 3 years, not even. Dan Campbell is an absolute unit. You gotta let the man coach, right? If he wants the players to get physical, let him get physical. But that is all the OTA news we have this week. There's always something, so look forward to more news next week. We will have a new guest next week talking something a little bit different, whether it's basketball, baseball, football, especially football. Patone is getting out of the throne. It's time for Throne Patone to end.